Lee Moultrie is an entrepreneur and a leader in the Charleston community. I speak exclusively with Lee for a special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores, or listen to this interview on the iHeartRadio app. Lee Moultrie, it's so good to meet you again.
Nice meeting you again, my friend.
I appreciate it. Let me take you to the email that you sent me just last night. You said this quote: "Hello, my brother. The big day is finally here, and now I have to study about my big test tomorrow morning." Ha ha ha. Excited and looking forward to this discussion. Tell me, when you look around this town and this world, what type of discussion should we be having right now?
The discussion that I would think, being a native of Charleston, originally from North Charleston, Academy,
Right.
the discussion should be, how do we all come together and respect each other, black, white, Hispanics, all other ethnic groups? That's the conversation I think we should be having.
And you also said this quote, speaking of your growing up here: "Yes, I am a native Academy section of North Charleston and moved up in the world to the Romney Street projects in 1967, which makes me 61 years old, moving into 62 on September 6th of this year." Tell me, how would you define yourself right now?
When you say, how would I define myself, what do you mean by that? How would I define myself?
When you look back to 1967 right now, 1967 to right now, who is Lee Moultrie?
Lee Moultrie has been on an assignment. God has blessed me to be on an assignment to work with so many people in the academic arena, the spiritual arena, and also in the business arena. So it's not really what I feel that I should be doing, it's what God has blessed me to be able to do, and to be in these different arenas and bring everyone together as one, to work towards that coming together in harmony.
And you also said this quote: "I was fortunate to attend all three big high schools on the peninsula before I graduated in 1976. Rivers was my main school. I went to Burke for electronics, and then one night summer, I decided to go to C.A. Brown for English." You talk a lot about the peninsula. What is the biggest difference between 1976 and right now when you think of this peninsula of Charleston?
What I see the difference of is that some of the people, the elders, were not able to educate the people on how to better insulate themselves and be more prepared for change. And that's the difference I see when we're talking about all the development, and then we don't see as many African Americans taking advantage of these opportunities, because those that were in position did not take the opportunity to educate the other community, the mass amount of people in our community, to be positioned to do the same thing as others.
And let me stay right there, because obviously there's a big talk right now about gentrification. How did we get here with that?
Well, it's a covenant when we deal with gentrification. I don't particularly use that word,
okay,
gentrification. I mean, it's out there,
right,
but I'm seeing that if white folks are buying property, then they have the money to do that. Okay, then someone didn't assist us in leveraging ourselves to get that money also. And then we, as a people, did not decide, how do we come together to position ourselves, to come together, 1, 2, 3, the churches, the fraternities, sororities, to come together and purchase properties ourselves, and to better educate those that may not have as much knowledge as others, to be prepared, positioned to take advantage of opportunities also.
You talk about knowledge. You also said this quote: "I immediately joined the Air Force and retired 24 years ago and traveled for 18 years. And my last assignment was in the mountaintops of Saudi Arabia in support of Desert Storm, whereas it was only 100 individuals where we were assigned based on the type of aircraft we supported." As we sit here right now, what is your view of the world?
The view of the world, and which perspective are you speaking?
All sorts of things going on right now. How do you look at it?
I look at this as a golden opportunity. This is a golden opportunity. You know, I was at the gym a couple of days ago with this young lady, and she told me she had an 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 3-year-old. I said, what are they going to do this summer. She said, well, they're just gonna hang out. And I said, well, ma'am, whoa, they don't have time to hang out. I said, for your 3-year-old, the world that this 3-year-old will live in 15 years does not even exist. That the world does not exist. So we have to be prepared. No, we need to be working towards more in artificial intelligence, robotics, and how do we position ourselves even more to take advantage of this opportunity? How do we leave an inheritance for our children's children? How do we prepare, educate them on what's happening in this world that we have now? And we can't say it's woe is me, I have to wait on somebody else. No, the information is there. We have to take advantage of it. Be it white, black, Hispanic, everyone has to take advantage because we are responsible for educating our children and our children's children and leaving something for them, positioning them, educating them. And that's why I'm so much in the books and educating people about getting into the books, getting into the technology.
Sure.
That's it.
And let me get back to you because you said this quote, my career in the Air Force was traffic management, whereas we dealt with every form of transportation, water, trucking, airlines, and railroad. Seeing that they did not want to pay me what I thought I should be getting paid with my expertise and international knowledge, I went back to the food and beverage for about 18 months. And God blessed me to see an opportunity within the healthcare arena to help many individuals. And I've enjoyed this 18-year journey of working with those at MUSC, USC, and many nonprofits and community-based organizations. Healthcare. That's another big topic around here. What is the state of healthcare in your mind?
The state of healthcare, again, is based upon when you say what aspect. You know, I just heard a discussion on the news this morning. They said people are taking Uber to the emergency room when they have a condition. Well, that's insane. You don't want to take Uber. The ambulance is the most important vehicle for you to use because they're treating you as you en route to the hospital. Now, if you have a non-emergency situation you want to take Uber, you can take that. Okay, but you always want to take an ambulance because these trained professionals are treating you en route. They're not stopping at a traffic light. Well, they're going to slow down and so on and so forth. But they're medicating you. They're treating you. Okay, healthcare system also, that's ration. We got to be careful with that. When we had the Affordable Care Act came into place, that was to help people who are disenfranchised. Because some people, if they had some disability, if they had diabetes before they were a certain age, they had to qualify for health care. And if they did get it, it was at a higher cost. Well, with the Affordable Care Act made sure that it balanced out, that nobody was charged any higher rate. And so we have to make sure on that. Now they're trying to take it back. The present administration is trying to take that back from people. So a lot of people are being disenfranchised through the healthcare system, be it children in school. They can't participate in sports because the parents don't have health care. We have to be careful with that.
How did politics creep into people's lives?
Politics did not creep into people's lives. Politics, everything about your life is politics. Everything about your life is politics. You have your, and what people don't understand, I try to get some of my fellow warriors to get away from this mantra that people died for your life. No, when we're talking to millennials and the younger people about politics, we want them to understand it is your responsibility to vote when you turn 18. Why? The person that you vote for or don't vote for, that's the person that's your mayor. That's your city council that's regulating certain things in your community. That's your school board. That's your county council representative. That's your House of Representatives. That's your U.S. congressman. That's your U.S. senator. All of these people have something to say about your life and everything that goes on. Whether you're participating or not, politics has something to do with every aspect of it.
You talked about education. I want to go back to it because you said this quote, so with that in mind, I'm preparing to retire on September 6, 2018 and go on the speaking circuit about my soon-to-be released book titled School to Prison Pipeline and how do we solve this injustice to our communities and society as a whole. The school to prison pipeline, that's another big topic around here.
Yes.
This might be a silly question, but how do you want to put a hole in that pipeline?
You want to stop it. You want to educate people on what really is happening, okay? a lot of people don't understand that there's a lot of nuances about a lot of things. A lot of people make money by keeping the same thing going forward. You gotta understand, everybody is making money. If I got a nonprofit, I probably am making money because I'm saying I'm educating this individual, when in actuality, I might not be doing as much as I can be doing. And that's a lot of nonprofits. We have so many overlaps and duplication of services within our community and society as a whole, with nonprofit, community-based organization, academic institutions, so on and so forth. All we have to do is be simplistic. You know, I can only be simplistic. I'm from Academy and Romney Street Projects. So I just come with the solution to the situation.
I understand that. And let me get back to you again. Quote, yes, I was a stay-at-home dad for 3 years with my then daughter from 4 years old to 7 years old while we lived in England. And she attended a British school. So, you obviously are a dad.
Yeah.
You are an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You are a leader in this community. But when you take off all those hats, what other hat would you put on to describe you?
I'm a servant of the people. I'm a humble servant. I just enjoy being able to assist people. That's it. That's all I want to do. And I thank God for the opportunities that I've been given, and learning how to take advantage of opportunities. To be able to be a stay-at-home dad for 3 years with my daughter when we lived in England, that was beautiful. To be able to not worry about the stresses of her coming home and one of her parents wasn't there, that was the real motivating factor for me getting out of the Air Force. Because I had just returned from Saudi Arabia. They were about to send her mother, who was in the Air Force, Saudi Arabia. We wanted her to always be around one of her parents, either me or the mother. We didn't want to send her to her mother or my mother. So at that particular time, the Air Force, the military was drawing down, so I took advantage of the early retirement program. And immediately when we did the early retirement program, she was relocated to England at that time.
Let me go way back. Obviously, you've been helping the community out for a long time. Healthcare, obviously education. Any particular event, any particular situation that really describes you professionally?
But when you say describe me, what do you mean by describe me?
When you look back on your life professionally,
Yeah.
what is that one event or situation that still plays in your mind to this day?
That plays in my mind. There's so many little things. I mean, I became a lead plaintiff on a lawsuit that went to the U.S. Supreme Court against Charleston County because of the disenfranchisement of the African American community for over 50 years. And so how do we bring parity to the community? So now we have an imbalance, because you had the at-large voting system versus the single-member district, whereas African Americans really did not have any representation on county council. We had Lonnie Hampton and we had Tim Scott, but that's one versus 8 others who have their particular objectives and initiatives that may not be in the best interest of the African American community when we see the plight that's going on right now.
That's very, very interesting. And I'm asking the same question again, but what should the headline be about your life?
The headline about my life? That's nothing about my life. I'm just a regular guy, country boy from Academy.
Right.
I'm just a humble servant. I just enjoy my life. I enjoy how God is blessing me to be surrounded around people in both academic arenas, from MUSC to USC to the College of Charleston, all of the business arenas and all of those things, and them receiving me because they taught me. They taught me because my career in the military was traffic management.
Right.
I was able to learn the healthcare arena by humbling myself and sitting at the table with these professionals. Okay, I'm sitting at the table with all the PhDs, the master's degree, the MDs, And they're saying, well, what do you see, Mr. Moultrie? And that's what I thank God for. I just thank God that I'm able to be with all of these professionals, learn from them, and say, now, how do we bring these different communities together that we may have problems with? We may have some issues with blacks and white, with Hispanics, with the business community, with the faith community. My objective is how do we bring these people together? Because I've been fortunate to be in the Air Force for the 18 years in such a diverse community. So I'm used to different nationalities, so and ethnic backgrounds. So I don't come in there the angry black man, but I have some things that I want to address as an African American. Okay, so I'm gonna respect you as a Caucasian, a white person, Hispanic, or whatever, but let's address these things in a civil manner. That's what I'm at.
I asked you the wrong question. If I were to write a book about your future, what would the title be?
The book about my future?
Yes, sir.
My future is going to be that I'm going to be on the speaking circuit.
Right.
I'm going to be on the speaking circuit relative to my book.
Right.
And also, I want to be traveling and relaxing. I'm going to pull out my bandana. I was thinking last night, so I'm going to pull out my bandana.
Please.
I'm going to put my bandana on, and I'm going to put my shades on, and I'm going to be relaxed somewhere in the corner. I'm going to say 40 years of service to the community that God has used me as a regular, humble servant. And I just want to relax. I just want to relax. I want to sit back and read some other books, talk with some folks, have some discussion throughout the world on addressing the issue of school-to-prison pipeline. I want to talk to brothers about being a stay-at-home dad and sitting there with your daughter, your son, your grandchildren. That's not a normal discussion we have, as per se, for me from the hood. Okay, I was nurtured in the hood, Acca raised on Romney Street Project. Okay, so that's not. I was not taught that you want to go ahead and be a stay-at-home dad for 3 years while you're living in England and taking care of your daughter and volunteering there and the different things. And they wrote an article about us when I left England. They wrote an article about me and my family in there. So these are things that God has blessed me to humble myself to learn. So that means, and so I come to the table without a degree, but saying I'm humbling myself enough to learn from those who have degrees, and then I can transfer that information and reprogram that information where I can understand and everyone else can understand also. So if I'm talking to President-elect Obama or Bill Clinton or whomever else that may be on my website, those are the things that I'm doing. My life will be probably boring. My life will probably be boring. Nobody want to deal with that. You know, you deal with the military structure that we have 18 years. And like you said, when I was in the mountaintops of Saudi Arabia, that was with a reconnaissance aircraft. That was a spy plane that we was at the highest point there was. Okay, so 100 of us up there and doing the different things we were doing there. So I can't think of what my story would be. I just know that I am thankful to have been living for 61 years, having the mother that I have had, father that I had, brothers and sisters, the wife that I have now that's very supportive of me, the children that I have, the grandchildren that I have. So all my time now is going to be paid back to them because there's a sacrifice in doing what God has blessed me to do for the past 40 years. There's a sacrifice I had to do in not having enough time, spending enough time with them. So now my time has to go to my children and grandchildren and to my wife and things of that nature there. So that's what I'm looking towards doing right there.
That's so good to hear. And we thank you for your service, by the way.
Thank you, sir. It's an opportunity. I enjoy that opportunity of serve.
That's so good to hear. Well, Lee Moultrie, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate this.
Thank you, Quintin. I really enjoyed this conversation with you. It's been a long time coming, but I appreciate you taking the time and giving me this opportunity to share some things that I'm thinking about.
Well, that's so good to hear. Maybe I'll see you back in Columbia.
Yes.